Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Um, so typically, on my channel, I've got a few different things that I like to talk about. Most generally, RC stuff, music, um, uh, things like that. Multi rotors, drones. I hate that word, but that's what the media has kind of labeled them as. So that's kind of what I'm going to refer to them for some of my videos, but it's it, it's a name that I feel is not necessarily warranted for you know things such as this item here, which we're going to talk about today. Um, Most generally, drones are something I would consider fully autonomous. The military uses drones for lots of different things. They can take off by themselves. They can land themselves. And some of the newer, more advanced multi-rotors these days, some by DJI, have a lot of the autonomous features built into it. So they would tip. I would almost venture to say they would be now categorized as a drone. Just for the simple fact that they can do a lot of independent things by themselves, especially if you program those functions into them. So basically, today what we're going to talk about is my latest build here. Little bit of backstory on the multi-rotors. I started out with a version 1 DJI Phantom. Fell in love with the whole multi-rotor thing. That was back in 2013. Christmas of 2013 is when I got my first one. Santa was nice to me that year and provided one of those for me for Christmas. So after that point I was pretty much hooked. Now the Phantom, it gave me an easier avenue to go down when it came to getting introduced to the whole multi-rotor aspect of RC, or of the RC hobby itself. Fairly inexpensive way to get into flying. Granted, I've been around the RC hobby for many years, but anyway, when it came to multi-rotors, it really thrust me back into the RC scene. I'd been out of it for quite a few years. With a child in high school and band and things like that, work, some of the hobbies just kind of go by the wayside until such time that is allowed for you to get back into them. And 2013 was kind of that year, so at least for me it was. But multi-rotors are kind of a hobby for me, just like many people that are into multi-rotors. They love it. They're very, very passionate about it, and it's some do it for a profession, and that's awesome. But regardless of that, this is the newest addition to my multi-rotor stable. Now again, I got this for Christmas, and what it is it's a build kit that you can purchase from, and I'll go ahead and plug his store because he's been a pretty good help with everything pertaining to this particular kit. Mike down at FPV Flight Lab, or Flight Club. I'm sorry, FPV-flightclub.com. Go check it out. He's got a store. He's got lots of videos. He offers build kits such as this one. This one is a Lumineer QAV-X. You can Get it with different brands of motors. I chose mine. The motors I chose for this are the Emax red bottoms, the 2300 kVs. So it's I've flown it line of sight. It's got an enormous amount of punch. It's got the oh, good grief. My mind just completely went back. I'll come back to it here in a second. I'm flying a Lumineer 600 milliwatt video transmitter. I've got, let me bring this up here. Using a Vortex, I'm sorry, DR4 or D4R2. I'm sorry. That's incorrect as well. For reception, I'm using a FR Sky XSR. It's the one that you can wire in. It doesn't have a whole lot of the cardboard outer skin, if you want to call it that. Let's see here. I'm using the Racecraft 5051 Racecraft tri-blade props. An enormous amount of punch off of these things. It's ridiculous how much thrust the props give it. So I'm using a Quad Revo OSD Pro. I want to talk a little bit about that, or it's the Power OSD Pro. It's actually the Power OSD Pro 2.1, not the 2.0 that I was actually ordered with the kit. Let me get this. So this right here is the first one. I installed it. It came with the kit. You have to solder everything. But the problem was it was displaying erroneous voltage amperage. The voltage was like showing 150 volts on it, which I fly with the 4S, and it's a 16 volt pack. So the flight timer on it was just going haywire and whatnot. So contacted Quad Revo, and lo and behold, I ended up buying one, and talked with Mohammed from Quad Revo, and he shipped one out. 3-day UPS or U.S. Postal Service, and got here today. Got it all soldered up, but he also sent me out a spare at no charge. I thought that was incredibly nice of them to do that, because they didn't have to, you know. Obviously there was an issue with this particular board, and they wanted to make it right, so they sent a replacement out for it, along with the one I purchased. So I thought that was awesome. Anyway, so back to the kit here. So I'm using the Quad Revo Power OSD Pro 2.1. It's the newest version out as of January 2017. Using a Lumineer 600 milliwatt video transmitter. I'm also using, the camera that I'm using is the it's an HS 1177, but it's also got the wider angle lens on it. Mike down at FPV Flight Club, he puts the wider lenses on them, so you know, it makes it much easier to see turns and whatnot. So let's see, what else do I have on it. The motors, they're Emax 2205 2300 kV red bottoms, lots of power, lots of thrust. The speed controls are DYS XS20As, the 20 amp speed controls. So they're very, very good speed controls. So it looks like the video is going to stop here. We'll pick it up